How to maintain your life, how to maintain your ministry, how to maintain your ministry, your business, your life. And this is a good news that today I have come to share with you how you can maintain your life. And how you can maintain your life, I like to bring some information. We're going to start from looking at natural, how to maintain. When you have a big house, when you have a big, you have big house and a big, business that is established, and the business is established, and now you have so many working for you. You have employed so many people, they are working for you. And when you have a big house, then it is also you cannot do it. You need someone who will maintain, because it's a big house and it is a maintenance you need. Maintenance means when someone is coming and checking everything is in order and everything is like in its place, and everything is working properly and everything is like in a position. Maintaining mean taking care of it. Maintaining mean looking after your business, looking after your house, looking after yourself. In order to achieve a balanced lifestyle, you must make sure you have, healthy relationship, and you are self-healthy. And how would you see there is some things you need to do, because you need to see you're eating right, you're eating good, and you're having a rest, you're having a exercise, eating healthy food. It is taking care of yourself. And you have to do this in a routine. You have to do this in a regular base. And that's how we see how important to take time out from a, from a busy, time out from a busy day, or, it is to, you need to make a time. You want to do exercise, you have to make a time. You need to take some rest, you have to make a time. It's the same likewise, business. You have to make a time that you appoint someone who will come and take care and looking at all things, especially like a manager. You would say manager is a position is to taking care of all things, to maintain, as we see, finances, we see accountant, and we see, so for the house we see the maid comes, and female maid or male maid comes to maintain, because you pay them, they maintain. So it is like you're paying them. Now we're going to see, this is how we see in the natural, we see how you're going to maintain your life, how you're going to maintain things that need to be maintained. So we have checked it, and I'm going to just see some of the things from the, biblical. What is the meaning? I am going to share biblical, because it's a biblical we are talking about, as well as the practical acts as well. So if I look at the dictionary, some of the dictionary is like saying lots of things is talking about. The dictionary says a lot of things. It's just what I shared. You have to take time out to maintain. It is the taking time. So it's like managing your time. How can you manage your time? And that's where I am bringing this good news to you. How you can maintain your business, how can you maintain your ministry, how can you maintain your life, how can you maintain, if you got a big house, how will you maintain? But even if you have any kind of house you have, and it is, if you have money, you can pay to the maid, or and they can come and do the cleaning. It is making sure everything is clean. Spiritual wise is likewise. So in a spiritual, how would you do this? And that's where I have come with the good news to share with you. How can you maintain your spiritual life? I have mentioned, the natural, how you maintain your your life, how you maintain your business, your ministry, business, because I'm going to share about the ministry, your business, and how you will maintain your, things that you have, how will you maintain. This is a good news. I have come to share with you and to bring some of the definition which in the natural I've already mentioned, I have already shared. Now I am going to share the spiritual. How would you maintain your spiritual life? First of all, I would just like highlight from, in Genesis in 1, and we see in Genesis 1, I want to bring this example from Genesis 1. It's chapter 2, not 1. I think it's not even chapter 2, chapter 3. In chapter 3, and it mentioned in chapter 3 that how Eve, she did not manage her spiritual life, and what she did, her spiritual life, it was hijacked. Because the gift that she had and the gift that Adam had, it was hijacked. How it was happened? Because she did not maintain her spiritual business or ministry. You can use ministry is a business. So because she did not manage her ministry, it was hijacked. Because that's where we see enemy comes and he mess up. But we're going to share some tips how you can take care of your spiritual life, your business, and it is your spiritual life. It's first of all, it begins from your own spiritual life, because your spiritual man, it is you need to take care of that. You need to maintain your spiritual man. As you take care of your natural, you need to take care of the spiritual. And the spiritual, we're going to see how to take care of the spiritual life. Spiritual life is very, very important, and I want to share this because spiritual life is something that we need to really, really concentrate on. And because Eve did not maintain her spiritual life, and neither Adam, because he did not maintain. The reason why he did not maintain and it was hijacked, the first of all, he listened to who he gave the instruction. So he was listening to whom he was giving the instruction, to take the instruction and follow the instruction, and to follow the instruction to do the work, the practical. So he listened to someone, he is giving the instruction to carry it, or to use the instruction. It's like I would use it assistant. So when you call your assistant in your office, you would give them some dictation and you would give them some information. How did you wanna, is the task that you give it to the assistant? It's that so task that you want the assistant to is to take this information and manage it. And here we see the boss is not going to run after the assistant, and he's not going to take the instruction from the assistant because he's the boss. He's got the vision, he's got the business. He's not going to take the instruction from the assistant. He's given the instruction to the assistant to manage. So she's like a secretary, and you can say assistant. So this is how we're going to see how, the instruction, when you're giving someone instruction, you don't want them to give you instruction because you are in the office. You are managing your business, managing your ministry. You don't want the third person to come and give you instruction that you know. But yes, you take advices and you have to see if that advice applied to you. Here we see this is what happened really in the spiritual life. This is what happened with Adam. Adam was giving the instruction to assistant, which is Eve. It is to carry, take the instruction and put the things, manage it. But rather than she manage, she share all the information with the opposition, and she has no clue that this is opposition. But in a conversation, she was giving all the information, and then he gave something advice. He gave something a bitterness. He gave something which is it is like, it's not the right advice. So it was like he heard it first, what she is up to, and then then he gave something that he want her to take it. So in two people, there should not be third person to come, because third person is always gonna come and divide the two relationship. So here we see that first of all, the enemy came and he divided the relationship between God. So he divided the relationship, and then he divided the relationship through the people through whom the vision was given. So the one who's got the vision is responsible for the is the one who's has to take care and maintain and taking care of all things. First of all, I would say, excuse me. First of all, I would say that when you're giving instruction, you're not to take instruction because you're in the office. You are giving instruction. And secondly, it's advice is okay. You can listen to people's advice, but you don't take instruction for your things because you know it. You are the one who got the vision. You are the one who got the ministry. You are the one who has that gift, and it is you are the one in the office. So here we see that it's how the people can come and interfere and how they can come, and it's here when maintainers come into your house, you give them instruction. This is what you want. This is how you want. Use so things, and don't use this and don't use this. I want this one to be clean. I want this one to be, put in this place. But you give them instruction. They have come to maintain your house, meaning to come and clean. But they cannot just do anyhow because it's not their house, it's your house. So the maintenance, you give instruction, you don't take instruction, you give instruction. And it is maintaining. You want this way, you want this way, this is how you want, these things has to be there, these things you put it there, so they have to follow your instruction. And you maintaining it. But when you're taking the instruction from them whom you've given the instruction, that's where it comes that you cannot maintain because you're taking someone else's instruction. So it's now they wanted to overrule you rather than you overrule them. That's how we see with Eve. That's what she done. And that's why Eve done with Adam, and Adam has to it's like his ministry was hijacked because he took the instruction from the person whom he was giving the instruction to maintain to. But when you're giving instruction, you make sure that everything is in a place and it is done according to that. So it's also, again, you don't even trust your maintenance 100%. You giving the instruction, you need to check over it, you need to watch over it, whether it is done according to your way. So you don't take instruction when you're giving instruction to someone. So now when you're giving instruction, because now you are not ruling, you are allowing other one to rule you. That's where you make sure that you don't allow someone rule you, your ministry, your gift, but you rule your ministry, you rule your gift. And there is a point that I'm Prophetess Susanna Quran, and today is 12th of August and 2021. Today I am sharing how to maintain your business, how to maintain your spiritual life. Today I'm sharing about how to maintain your spiritual life, looking at some practical, knowledge, and looking at some practical work as well, because it's relevant with the spiritual. That's why the natural came first and the spiritual came afterward. So it's relevant, you understand how it works. So there are some few things that I want to share maintaining, and there is another one I can share who did not maintain at the point when he did listen to the assistant as well. That is another one example I like to share, and that is the example I want to share. Abraham, when he was Abraham and he was walking with God, he gave God gave him the instruction, and God told him that he's going to have a son, and immediately he shared with his assistant, which was his wife, and she gave him instruction, and she done the same thing here. Because when you're giving instruction, don't take instruction from them. It is you giving, because that is your Abraham at the time he was Abraham had it was his ministry. So he had the information he shared with Sarai. At the time she was Sarai, and Sarai gave him the instruction, quickly do it. She told him to do quickly. You are not to do quickly the spiritual. You need to wait on the Lord. Waiting in God's timing, and that's where you need to maintain until God's timing. He opened it and no one can shut. Here we see how it happened. I have brought two examples, the biblical from Genesis. Both are from Genesis, and both are from, it's from Genesis. One is from Genesis 3 I have shared, and one is from Genesis when Abraham began to walk. So his walk start from the chapter 12, and then 13 and 14 and 15 is carry on, his journey. But here I'm sharing how you maintain your business, your spiritual life, and that's what I have shared the example. Now I want to share what you need to be very aware of it and what you need to avoid things. In your spiritual life, you need to maintain your spiritual life. The spiritual man, you need to maintain. First of all, I like to share that maintaining is the blessing that you already received. How can you maintain the blessing? How can you protect your blessing? How can you maintain? Meaning you keep on a regular checkup on your spiritual life. Spiritual life is very important to check on, because we are spiritual, because we have received the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, and we have received His Word. We need to know now how to maintain the spiritual life. The things that we have received, how can you maintain it? So very first thing, when increase comes, and that's we see in Genesis, you can also say a financial increase, you can also say spiritual increase, and it was coming together. And when it came together, how Isaac maintained, and we're going to see some of the things that Isaac maintained when he was increasing and he was improving and developing in his spiritual life, in his ministry. And that's where we see how it is important to maintain, Spiritual life is important equally as the natural. And we're going to see here how Isaac maintained. When Isaac was having this battle with his, because he's got enemy It's not Isaac who had enemy, because Isaac was increasing spiritually, financially. So he was moving upward, forward, higher he was going, and the people around him, and you can say, a group wherever he was, and it was a people who was having strife. Very first thing, you do not allow strife in your life. In your life, you don't allow strife. Strife is also mentioned as quarreling, and it is also angry and bitterness. So these things are not good for the spiritual. God said, let there be no bitterness, because he said forgive. And that's where we see how forgiveness is important. So you don't allow strife in your life. You have to avoid strife. And if obviously the people going to do that, but you have to forgive them and move on. What was Isaac was doing? He was forgiving and moving on, and that's where we see that Isaac was doing. He was keep moving upward. The reason he was keep moving upward, because he was forgiving, and you need to forgive, and that's why you need to take care of your spiritual life. And that's what is the one of the things that I want to share, strive. And we see, I also when I was reading, and I also checked strife that Abraham faced as well. So Abraham also faced strife, and how did he overcome? And as I was reading and I come to a place of understanding, it says Abraham separated himself. So he separated himself from the strife, from the, and when you are talking about the strife, it is actually the thoughts, the mindset, because when the strife come, they quarrel, and then after that, you might not even have the bitterness, but it speak in your thoughts, in your thinking, it starts speaking, and it is like bringing bitterness. But that's where you see the bitterness is not the people, but it's the thoughts. So you have to know how to maintain your spiritual life, because you have to forgive and you have to move on. So that means you maintain it. You know it, this bitterness, this unforgiveness, this strife is not good for you, and you have to maintain by forgiving other. And that's what the Bible teaches. It is not about the people, it's about the thoughts, because it's all about how these thoughts comes afterward. But it is to forgive, how to release your thoughts is not to meditate on them and not to entertain them. So I'm sharing it that how to maintain your spiritual life, and one of the things which I share, it is the strife. Do not allow strife. So Abraham separated himself. So the strife was coming through the Lot, and he separated himself from Lot. So he divided himself. Meaning, when God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God divided, separated light from the darkness. And it was light to rule the day. It was that you need to rule it. And there we see Cain as well. When Cain was angry, the Lord said to him that you must guard your heart. You must not allow this anger. But he did not rule the anger. He allowed the anger to rule him. So here you need to rule your life. You need to maintain your life. It is like ruling your life, spiritual life, understanding God's word. What God's word said, that forgive. Just forgive and move on. But the bitterness, when you're having this argument or conflict, it's going to always remind you that this person said so thing. But you need to know it is to forgive and move on. That's how we see. That's how Isaac was keep moving upward, forward, higher. And he was increasing in the knowledge of God, and he's increasing in his, he was moving upward in his ministry. He was moving upward, and his financial was increasing. the spiritual came increase, and the financial also came increase. Today I have shared with you this good news, and I am Prophetess Susanna Krana. Today is 12th of August 2021. I have come to share how to maintain your spiritual life, and I have shared in detail with the practical and tips that I have brought, information I have brought, that you need to avoid things and to taking care of your spiritual life. This is how to maintain your spiritual life. I have come and share with you, and this is part 1, and I am bringing the good news in part 2 to take it further to the next level, and I'm excited to share with you and bring this information to you, and I'm sure as well as I'm excited to share with you, you are excited, looking forward to hear and to receive the knowledge. And until, stay blessed.